Good evening, Patriots. So happy Iowa Caucus Day. Welcome to a very, very special Iowa Caucus broadcast of We the People with Tricia Flanagan. We have everybody's favorite guest, Clay Clark, with us tonight to give us the bottom line, the lowdown, the truth, as he always does. We can't wait to get into this with everybody's favorite executive producer, Michelle Albergo. We were all here on Team Trump saying that Vivek was bad news. I broke some news the other day about going deep and wide about what Vivek Ramaswamy, I call him Ramaswampy, how he was involved with not just George Soros, but did a pump and dump with Big Pharma. We have all of the details that you need to know, and we're getting ready to look at 7 p.m. at the caucus in Iowa, where we believe President Trump is gonna take the day. What do you say, Clay Clark? Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for carving out time for me today. And I'm to my right, I'm joined with James. James works at the Reawaken America Tour behind the scenes, trying to save America. And let's go to the Vivek thing first, if I can. If you go, I made a button at timetofreeamerica.com. I'm going to pull up my notes here. Timetofreeamerica.com, and you click on the Vivek Ramaswamy button. I'll put a link here. And I know a lot of this is what things you've already covered maybe on your program. But I want people to know, if you just were to look at Vivek and you say, I'm going to toss out what he says and just look at what he does, which, by the way, is a pro tip for life. But fact number one is this guy, his college was paid for by the Paul and Daisy Soros Fellowship. And I just sent you a link to it so people can verify that. And if someone says, well, it doesn't matter, he was a college kid, it doesn't really even matter. Well, okay, he also wrote his senior paper when he was 22 years old, advocating for the use of chimeras. That's where you merge a human with an animal for research. The only other person I know that was advocating for that is Yuval Noah Harari, the guy praised by Obama, Zuckerberg, Gates. Then he said he became had a net worth of $15 million while still in law school. Yet he says the company he sold is called studentbusinesses.com, whatever that was. He only reported $37,000 of gains taxes when he sold the business, which means it's mathematically impossible for him to have achieved a $15 million net worth. Then you get into more recent news. He starts a company called Roivant, and Roivant has never made money. In fact, it averages a $750 million loss per year. And we'll go way back in the past. Last year, he teamed up with Pfizer. He partners with Pfizer, Pfizer, the company teaming up with the World Economic Forum, Borla, Pfizer, the people that put the RNA modifying nanotechnology in the shots. What? I mean, this guy, he's teaming up with Pfizer. He also has his company, Roivant, has subsidiaries that are based in China. He's also merging AI with medicine. I mean, I can go on and on. So this guy, Vivek Ramaswamy, and then Dr. David Martin yesterday showed that he has undisclosed, or most people don't know about his financial investments in companies related to the COVID-19 shot technology. And I just feel like, James, you sell tickets every day. You talk to conservatives, and I believe this, and maybe you think I'm wrong here, but I believe that most conservatives that I've talked to in recent months love Elon Musk, and they love Vivek Ramaswamy. Do you agree with what I just said, or am I out of my mind?
You know what? I think a lot of people do, but now, since President Trump won against Vivek, a lot of people are seeing the truth about him, and people need to realize a vote for Vivek is a vote for the swamp. It's a vote for the deep state. It's a vote for the destruction of our country. And alternatively, a vote for President Donald John Trump is a vote for peace. It's a vote for prosperity. It's a vote for everything that we love, our family. It's a vote for America. It's a vote for God and country.
Well said.
Well, you're both so right. And Michelle knows I took a lot of flack in the recent months for going directly at Vivek. And I'd like to not just nickname him what I've heard as, Ramaswampy, but I'd like to name him Ramaswampy, because he is Obama 2.0 in my opinion. He's the Republican face of this very, very extremist World Economic Forum ticket. And it's not just what you mentioned so eloquently, both of you did, about his connections to the George Soros Foundation, but he did a pump and dump with, my background is science. My background is biochemistry. My background is all of the things that go in pharma that nobody wants to talk about. And what what Vivek Ramaswamy, Obama Ramaswamy did was he did a pump and dump with an Alzheimer's medication that he repackaged. It had failed the clinical trials in big pharma, and he took it, sold it to Wall Street, pumped it for billions of dollars. And as you said, Clay, it never made a dime. And in fact, it's lost over $1 billion. And in addition to that, what he's done is he has violated the constitutional rights of every American, because what he did when he was involved with the COVID debacle, he went and worked with the Ohio bureaucrats, and he put together a data bank of Americans and tried to tag them as having the vaccine or not. He tried to tag them as being against the state or not. This guy is deep state. He's not just Obama 2.0. He's deep state 3.0, and he's bad news. You perfectly outlined it. What do we have to expect down the road if we even give this guy an inch? He'll take 45 miles, right?
Yeah, well, I will just say this is the method, and I don't have a scientific playbook for this. I'm just going to walk you through the method, though, of Rules for Radicals, the book that was written in 1971, the book that was dedicated to Lucifer, the book, it was written by Saul Alinsky. It's often quoted by Obama. It's often quoted by Hillary Clinton. I don't have a scientific, like a step-by-step method, but I'm going to over-summarize their method. The method is this. All right, James, here we go. This is your cup. All right. This cup represents freedom, okay? And what the Democrats will do, the Luciferian left, the globalists, the rhinos, the Koch-funded globalist Republicans, whatever that is, they'll say something unreasonable like, hey, and just pretend that I didn't know you, okay? We didn't know each other. This was your beverage. This is your coffee beverage, okay? And I'm like, hey, can I have a sip out of that?
No way, bro.
And then they're going to keep doing it, though. Can I have a sip out of that?
No, not today.
Listen, if you don't take a sip out of that, I am going to go key your car.
Dude, no, you're not.
And they keep doing this and doing this and doing this. And then eventually the person's like, well, I don't want to have my car keyed. I don't want to get into an argument with this unreasonable person. Fine, you can just take my coffee. That's what ends up happening. You know, and it ends up being where the person goes, fine. And that's what happens, is because good-natured people, conservatives, they don't want to fight about it. So let me give you an example. The other day there was a Christian school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they play the national flag. You know, please stand for the flag. Put your hand over your heart, folks. Focus on the flag. And a head basketball coach at a local Christian school not only doesn't put her hand over her heart, she looks down and turns the other way. And there's a few people with courage, the courage needed to call this person out. And nearly every comment that I saw was, yeah, you're right, but you don't know her situation. You don't know where she's coming from. You shouldn't be judging her, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, this is a communist, Marxist, godless display of intention. Someone thought about, someone had that thought before the game. When they do the national anthem, I'm going to, as an act of defiance and as an act of non-support for the men and women who've died for our country, and as a way to disrespect the flag and those who've died for it, I'm going to stand up, turn the other way. LeBron James did it the other day with his son. And right away, the left throws out an unreasonable argument. They say, you're racist. You are judging. You are, and most conservatives are like, well, and you saw it with LeBron. LeBron walked into the USC game, and many of the fans there, they started booing immediately when LeBron James walked into the game because they were doing the national anthem, and he walked into the game and refused to stand for the flag. He refused to put his hand over his heart, and he sat down. And so the fans were like, boo! But then they didn't want to be respectful of the person singing the national anthem. So eventually they quit booing and they just got back to doing the flag salute, you know. And that's what happens. And then they do it again and again. And pretty soon you're just used to the idea of, okay, I'm going to buy a coffee for the left and buy a coffee for me. Why? Because they make such a big deal about it. And then it happens over and over. And eventually the lines are so blurred that you go to the coffee shop and you're like, okay, I'll get one coffee for me and two for them because I don't want to be harassed by them in the parking lot. That's the sort of ridiculousness but I know it's probably not the best example, but that's what's going on right now in America is conservatives are capitulating to the left and to the woke conservatives. Bottom line, Vivek Ramaswamy is not a conservative. He's not. That's bottom line. Okay. It doesn't matter what he says. And then people say, well, we should at least give him a spot in the cabinet or at least give him an opportunity. No, we're done with you. We're done. I'll tell you what, you get to manage a lemonade stand, Vivek, if you can raise the money yourself to run a profitable lemonade stand, which would be the first profitable business of your life. That's what you get to do. And then after you've run a profitable lemonade stand, then we can see what else you can do. But the idea that we're going to give them a token appointment, that's what conservatives are saying now. Many conservatives I'm seeing that they're saying, we should at least give him a position in the cabinet. He'll resonate with young people. We should at least give him no. Everybody needs to reject him 100%.
You are so spot on, and I'm watching the comments play, and we have Ramon Hernandez, who is in that younger segment, and he is actually running for office in New Jersey, and he is saying common sense over nonsense. He's not buying what Vivek Ramaswamy is selling. And I agree with you that, you know, the young people need a voice, but Ramon, he represents that younger generation, and he's saying, not Vivek, and not today. Who do you think might be the voice of a new generation, and how can we capture that younger generation without having to pander to the left, like you're talking about?
Well, and I don't think that way. But I'll answer your question, and I'm not being passive aggressive or attacking. I just want to clarify how I think. Most people that I know go to college and they're liberal. Why? Because college is liberal. And again, I run businesses, okay? So I see people, and then once they turn 25, 26, once they get promoted, it just happened today. I talked to a young lady just today. Won't mention her name, but she's not like a apolitical person, you know, took the shot, that whole thing. And she was like, gosh, why do they take so much out of my check? And I said, who's they? She said, it's crazy. Like, so much of my check it's taken. Like, oh, geez. And I said, well, that's what you call the Democrat way. They raise they take money out of your check to fund the schools. And in Oklahoma and every state, they always say we don't have enough money for education. We need more money for education. We need more. And so this young person just today had their first almost conservative thought. She says, well, what should I do? And I said, well, if I were you, I'd vote Republican. But I mean, it's the first time in their life, because they have these ideas of we need to fix homelessness, we need to improve housing for homelessness, we need to make better parks, better roads, better concert halls, better theaters, better blah, 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 common public-private partnership places, you know, these arguments. But then when they get their first big paycheck, because now this person got promoted, they're in their early 20s, and she gets the first big check or bigger check, first promotion, and she's going, why did they take so much? Well, that's the path to conservatism. So I don't think you're ever going to change that. I really don't ever. Now, once you're north of 25-ish, okay, then what happens is then you tend to vote conservative. Now, what's happening is the government is continuing to offer more and more government jobs. And I'm not attacking you, James. I'm not attacking anybody out there that served in our nation and served in our country and served in our military. But what I have found is the government now, through offering balloon packages to government employees, whether it be firefighters, police, military, they're now actually wrestling away would-be conservatives to vote Democrat so they can keep their military benefits. I watched them do it with the COVID shots. They said, I know you're against the shots, but if you don't take the shots, you lose your military benefits. I watched them do it with the fire department. They said, hey, I know you're against the shots, but if you don't take the shots, you're going to lose your fire department benefits. I know you're against the shots, Mr. Police Officer, but if you don't take the shots, you lose your police benefits. I know, Mr. Teacher, Miss Teacher, you're conservative, but if you don't take the shots, you lose your benefits package, your balloon package, your golden parachute, your retirement, your whatever you call it. And I'm seeing that being used more and more. So the best way I know to fight it is to you roll out deregulate, and try to privatize as much business as possible, because the more people that work for the government, the more lifetime Democrat voters you're going to have. And I'll give you one more example. Years ago, I dated somebody, and she was a nice person, and they came from a farming community. And I was thinking to myself, how is it that you, who are the most pro-life person I know, how is it that you and your entire family vote Democrat? Like, how is it that you, who are the most outspoken member of your church, pro-life, pro-Jesus, how is it that you are voting Democrat? How is that? You know, and I'm dating this person, and this is before I was filled with a lot of conviction about, you know, what I believed in my life. I knew what I believed, but I was kind of like get along a little bit. I was 18, 19, 20 years old, trying to, you know, go along in the whole thing. And I was thinking, how is this possible? And then I discovered, oh, it's called farm subsidies. Oh, I get it. So your family benefits financially if they vote Democrat. I get it. It's almost heresy to vote against the hand that pays you, the hand that feeds you. So I would say we need to dramatically privatize the economy to long-term help people on a practical level, incentivize the idea of being conservative. Because if not, people will always follow the money. And the money right now is being doled out by the Democrats.
You're spot on. And what I hear as the net in what you're saying is return to the Trump economy, because freedom is the answer to tyranny. It always has been, it always will be. And I see one candidate in this race that is going to not only support that, but bring back all of the deregulation that you're talking about. I don't think there's anything else available in the Republican field to combat that. What are your thoughts on that, Clay? I think Trump 2024 is the solution. No?
Yeah, and I'm not minimizing Trump at all. I just want to make sure people understand what I'm saying clearly here. I got invited to a President Trump deregulation event at the White House. So I was sitting the distance from me to like the back of the studio I'm in. So it was like 15 feet from me to President Trump. It was an honor to be there. There was about 250 people there, primarily business owners. It was a deregulation event where Trump was celebrating the wins that were achieved by the deregulation policies. Now, President Trump is a brilliant man, a hard worker, a strategist, certainly not a deity, but a hardworking person. And he had the wisdom to surround himself by some wise people, one of which was Peter Navarro. Now, Peter Navarro happens to be one of my good friends, and Peter Navarro is facing sentencing on January 25th for refusing to betray President Trump. He will not give up any details of the private conversations he had with President Trump. And so I would say the first thing everyone can do on a practical level tonight, right now, everybody do it, whether there's 10 people, one person, two people. If you say, who am I talking to? I'm talking to you. Folks, listen, if you have a job, if you don't have a job, if you're not homeless, I encourage you, go to givesendgo.com/Navarro. I'm going to go there with you right now. It's going to take you about 4 seconds. Givesendgo.com/Navarro, Navarro. And my friend Peter Navarro is facing sentencing. I'm talking about putting him in jail. Now, this guy is 74 years old, Peter Navarro, and this is the guy who authored the Trump economy, and they want to put him in jail for years with the sentencing beginning on January 25th. So he could actually go to jail for years starting on January 25th. This is the guy who authored much of the Trump economy that we celebrate today. So I would just say on a practical level, step one, go to givesendgo.com/Navarro and donate something. It could be $5, it could be $10, it could be $1,000. Whatever you feel like you can donate, do it right now. Support this man, Peter Navarro. And I mean this, I'm not attacking churches. My wife and I tithe to churches. But if you're going to a bogus church, a woke church, I would go ahead and hit pause on the tithing thing, and I'd give money to Peter Navarro, because tithing is all about sowing seeds into God's work. Someone needs to work with me on this theology. It's about sowing seeds into God's kingdom. That's what it's all about. Okay. So if you're giving money to a woke church, I mean it. If you have a church that's pushing the masks, the lockdowns, the quarantines, the LGBTQ agenda, you might want to hit pause on that. You might want to go, you know what? I'm going to sow seeds into God's kingdom. Okay. And God's kingdom would be the kingdom that stands for righteousness, that stands for freedom, that stands for free will. I would believe that's a great way to support a guy like Peter Navarro. Or if you go to a non-woke church, you go to a great church, go ahead and give a little extra. That's givesendgo.com/Navarro. Second thing I would do is I'd get out there and tell everybody within your world tonight, get out there and support President Trump. Maybe you have somebody on your social media right now you don't even know, but they're a friend of yours on social media right now, and they maybe it slipped their mind. They're not super politically active. So everybody right now, post right now. I want you to do it right now. Everyone do it while it's hot in your mind here. What you want to do is you want to go up to rumble.com and you just want to search for Trump. Okay. So do rumble.com and do a search for Trump. And I'll put a link in the private notes here. But President Trump has a YouTube channel or a rumble.com channel that he updates. It's not censored. And I'm going to send a link to it right now. And you can post, let's get out there and caucus for President Donald J. Trump. This is like an urgent thing. So one is support Navarro. Two, go ahead and post this up right now. He's in the process right now of stumping for Project Trump. This is Stumping for Trump. Trump is out there all over Iowa right now, in the snow-covered Iowa, drumming up support, getting out that last-minute vote. Do it right now, folks. Get out there, post it on social media. You wouldn't believe how many people that I know in my direct life that always say, When's the election? I'm like, it's today. Go vote. Let's go. Let's move. So you got to post right now on social media. I put a link right there in the private chat. But if you just go to rumble.com and search for Donald J. Trump, that's Donald John Trump, Donald J. Trump, his Rumble channel, you can find the link and you can post it there.
Oh, yes, please, everyone listening, share, share, share. Make sure you share the links. Make sure you share the hashtags. We want to make sure that this message is heard loud and clear across America. We'll post this broadcast on Rumble as well. Follow us there. Follow Clay Clark. And, you know, what we're seeing right now is an unprecedented weaponization of the DOJ. What you're talking about this happening to Peter Navarro. They're doing that to President Trump. And they're the ones that are in the way. You know that the Democrats, the socialists, the communists, let's face it, let's call them what they are. They want to do that to every American that's in their way. We need to stand in the gap. We need to hold the line. The way you do that is support us on social media. Follow everybody on this panel. Clay, tell us where we can follow you, and we'll make sure that we share, 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 and get this message out everywhere to everyone. It's that critical.
Well, I'll say this right now. If you go to timetofreeamerica.com, timetofreeamerica.com, you know, our final Reawaken America tour, and I want to invite you on air and off air. We have our final Reawaken America tour events coming up in June. That's in June. So it's long enough in the distance that people can maybe block out time for it. But it's June 7th and 8th in Detroit, Michigan. Now, what's happening is Trump's entire inner circle's coming. So we're talking about if Peter Navarro's out of jail, he will be there. Alina Habba, President Trump's attorney, will be there. Kash Patel will be there. Devin Nunes, General Flynn, Eric Trump. It really is a celebration of freedom. You talk about Jim Brewer. You talk about Roseanne. You talk about retired Colonel Douglas McGregor. They're all going to be there. It's a great way for media to snag interviews. I would encourage you and anybody out there, if you can get to it, Detroit, Michigan, June 7th and 8th. You can request tickets at timetofreeamerica.com, timetofreeamerica.com. And James, we tell people they can name their price. What does that mean?
It means you could call in and pay any amount that works for you.
What's the lowest ticket price you sold a ticket for in the last 24 hours?
$2.
Oh, are you serious?
I'm serious.
You hate me.
And I want to let everyone know, President Trump, he is the keystone, and we all have to rally behind him and stand for him, stand for our country, stand for God, because we can save this nation, but we have to do it, and we need President Trump to lead the way there.
Did you just say you sold a ticket for $2?
Yeah, buddy.
Come on. What's another? I mean, because people can name their price, but theoretically, that's not good because I have to pay for all the costs here. Is there any other, like, what's an average price? I mean, people paying $50?
Yeah, around $75.
$75
is about average.
Okay, but people can get VIPs too.
We have VIP tickets. We also have backstage passes
and what's
as well.
What's the VIP ticket going to cost?
Only $500. But if you're a veteran, let me know. We have a special deal for you. We'll get that to you for half off.
Okay, so $500 for the VIP. You can name your price for every other ticket.
That's right.
And please don't pay $2 for a ticket, but you can if you need to.
That's awesome. We love our veterans. We love you guys. We love President Trump. And what better way to rally the cause, because 2024 is going to be a sprint to the finish line. And what better way than to join Clay Clark and all of this good stuff. Everybody he has coming to these events. You do not want to miss it. Let's rally at 1776 all over again.
Hey, thank you so much for carving out time for me today. You guys are extra special. I appreciate all your research, and your research into Vivek Ramaswamy is next level. Thank you so much, Tricia. Thank you, Michelle. And I'm going to go staple my tongue to this table until morale improves. Thank you.
Always our pleasure. You're our favorite. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. Wow, talk about on fire. What do you think, Michelle? I mean, those things, you know,
it's always that quick, like a tornado comes through.
It was, and you know what? That's what we're gonna need. The storm is upon us, right? So, I mean, you know, what are your thoughts on what Clay had to say on this? You know, this weaponization of the DOJ that's unprecedented. We cannot allow this to happen, and the answer is voting in the 2024 election to make sure we get our freedom back.
Yeah, they're going to continue to come at us. I mean, there's no stopping them. And although he said it wasn't a good example, I loved his example with the coffee. It's very true. If we continue to just, okay, take a sip, oh, have a whole cup, we just continue to do that. And that is probably why we are where we are, because we didn't even realize it was happening. It's all about conditioning. And we've been conditioned to this point. And here we are.
Well, bingo. And you know, we talk a lot off camera about the fact that the Democrats have played the long game. I mean, it's been decades, if not centuries, that they've planned this. You know, they went subversively. They went underground in Hollywood. They took it over. They went into the media. They took it over. They went into education, and look where we are. And, you know,
everything, every American foundation, they've infiltrated and they've taken it over. And now we're sitting here trying to make up ground again.
But there's a solution. Don't be silent. Don't sit back and let it happen. Don't let them take another bit of ground, because we not only are able to take back the ground that's been ceded, but we can actually take charge and we can reclaim this land.
And that is what we, the people, are all about.
We, the people, are. And what we have to do is, God still has his strong arm of protection upon America. And when God says it, it is so. It is done. And I feel that. You know, you and I talk a lot about that, Michelle. Tell us all a little bit about what you think this energy is about. It's a God energy, isn't it?
Well, this whole thing, that we're in the midst of a spiritual battle. I don't think anybody would argue with that. And God is on the throne. And I have complete faith and confidence that everything's going to be fine. We know that. We read the end of the book. But while we're here, we need to continue to put our best foot forward and play the long game right back. We could talk a little bit about what we have coming up as far as with Patriots Rising, and how we're going to fight back as we, the people, and start taking back the ground that we gave up.
Well, exactly. You know, please mark your calendars for February 1st. Michelle and I are the founders of the Patriot Rising movement, and we're going to bring it to Seed to Table in Naples, Florida. We're partnering with Alfie Oakes. Look him up. He's a great patriot. He works with General Flynn. President Trump, he and President Trump fly on his private jet. They've been in discussions, let's say, for a long time about how to benefit this country. And we are ready to join him again at Seed to Table. It's in Naples, Florida. And we're joining Terrence K. Williams. He's the author of From the Foster House to the White House. And he's also launching a new pancake line, Cousin T's Pancakes. And he's going to be joining us for this unprecedented event. It's a way to take back not just the marketplace for patriots, but Michelle and I are teaming up. As you might know, we have launched Self-It, which is it's the first ever therapeutic enzyme. It treats everything from neurologic conditions to arthritis, to makes your skin better, increases your energy level. It does all of that because it's the skeleton key that unlocks all of the cellular systems in your body. It's something you can find at selfithealth.com, and we are a proud sponsor and partner with Patriots Rising. Again, Michelle and I are your hosts, and we're bringing this to you. We're going to be bringing it live at Seed to Table, and it's the first of many events to come. We not only want to take back the marketplace, but as you know, when I ran for Congress, I authored the proposed American Healthcare Restoration Act that's bringing back choice and freedom to healthcare. It's getting government out of your healthcare decisions and your healthcare equation that where it never should have been. And so, Michelle, tell us a little bit more about the time at Seed to Table. We're going to be broadcasting live on social media, right?
Absolutely. Yes. So it'll be at Seed to Table on February 1st. That's a Thursday, beginning at 4 p.m. Come one, come all. It's a free event. It's going to be so much fun. You should leave there inspired and ready to get your boots on the ground and see how you could use your gifts and talents to move this country forward. No more looking backwards. It's we the people. Step up. Let's do things. Let's get her done.
I love it. Let's get her done. Amen. And so we'll have updates on this show as we have the lead up to February 1st. Again, you can watch it on social media. We'd love to have you live. We prefer to have you join us in Naples, but if you can't do that, we will be simulcasting on social media. Also, please mark on your calendars this Thursday, the 18th, we were just talking about the young voice. We're going to have a panel presentation, Graham Baylog and Gina Albergo. That last name sounds familiar. Those two lovely young folks are going to join us on Thursday, and they're going to give us a perspective on what the young folks are looking for to not just motivate them to vote in the 2024 election, but how they can take the baton of leadership moving forward. Tell us more about that, because I think you know Gina pretty well, don't you?
I think I kind of do. Yeah, Gina's my beautiful daughter. She's my oldest. And yes, this is going to be really an interesting perspective, because you always get to hear from Tricia and I, and we're okay, but we need to start looking to the generation behind us, because they're the ones that are going to be taking care of us when we're old. And it's going to be really interesting to hear the perspective of two young conservatives and how they see the world, and how they would like what they would like to see in candidates moving forward, like what's important to them. And I think that's super interesting, because again, it's not that it's that much different than the beliefs of Tricia and I, but it is through the lens and the eyes of people that are a little bit younger than us. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Hey, look, I still get carded at the liquor store, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
But that interview will be broadcast. We're going to record it on Thursday, and it'll be broadcast on this channel on Friday and throughout the weekend. So as always, we want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your ideas for future shows. And we thank you so much for being with us tonight. And again, happy Iowa Caucus Day. Please stay close because we will be talking about the results on Thursday as well from this epic caucus. And we want to hear from you, so please leave in the comments any ideas that you have, any questions that you might have for Gina and Graham as they join us on Thursday. And in the meantime, God bless you, God bless New Jersey, God bless Florida, God bless America, and God bless our great president, Donald J. Trump. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.